Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and today we're going to be going over my Magic Templar build for the Necrom chapter. Before we get started, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. We are almost at 6,500 subs, and helping me out with that will be awesome. Also, one more announcement before we get started. If you already are subbed to my channel and you want to help me out, I started up a second YouTube channel recently where it's just my Twitch VOD, so you guys don't really need to watch it, but it would help me out a lot if you guys went and subscribed, because that other channel can really be monetized soon. So having you guys over there and just subbing to that channel is a great way for me to get there. So really, please, I can't stress enough, take these 2 seconds to pause the video and just go and click on the link in the description to that other channel. Go subscribe to that. I would really mean a lot to me. But guys, that's it from me. Let's get started with the video. I really like this build overall. The tankiness is really nice, the healing is nice, and the damage is also nice. So what's not to love about it? So to start, we're going to be a Breton on our Templar. We're going to have 26 points into magic and 38 points into health to give us a max magic pool of 23.3k, max health pool of 32.2k, and a max stand pool of 16.2k. Our Mundus is going to be the Shadow to increase our critical damage and healing. And we're also going to be using Jewels of Mizrael as our food. This is going to increase our stamina and magic recovery by 315. It's also going to increase our max health by 3,400. Also moving on, we're going to be using Vampire Stage 3. Vampire Stage 3 is awesome for your tankiness. The lower health you are, the less damage you take. In my opinion, that's awesome. Moving on to our gear, our monster set is going to be Roxa the Warped. We're going to be using a heavy reinforced helmet. What Roxa does is the 1 piece gives you stam, mag, and health recovery. And the 2 piece is each second that you're in combat, you gain a stack of Dark Light. You gain up to 30 stacks max. And each stack of Dark Light is going to increase your stam, mag, and health recovery by 8. So real quick, I'm going to bring up my calculator on my phone. 30 times 8, because I'm not a math guy. So when you're at full stacks, you're going to have an extra 240 stam and magic recovery. So that's awesome. I don't really care about health recovery. It doesn't mean anything in this game anymore. So that's awesome for your overall sustain. So the longer you're in a fight, you're just going to have better sustain. So try and make sure you're in combat in those situations. That way you can just get those stacks up, increase your recovery. So again, we're using a heavy reinforced helmet with a medium well-fitted shoulder. Our chest piece is going to be mechanical acuity and heavy reinforced. Mechanical acuity is going to give you a stam, max magic, weapon and spell damage, and then when you deal non-critical damage, you gain a stack of mechanical acuity for 4 seconds, granting you 20% extra critical chance, and then that can stack up to once every second and up to stacking 5 times, because you can't get past 100% without like non-critting anymore. So this is awesome for your overall burst damage. If you could line it up so that you could time this right and start to stack all of your damage, you're just basically critting everything after a certain point, and the amount of damage you do with your jabs, your beam, your purifying light, all of that stuff, that damage from mechanical acuity that you get from critting everything is insane, and I'm really liking this damage. We're also going to be using Bracers of the Trainee as our hands in medium divines. And then as our back bar set, we're going to be using Rallying Cry. It's going to be light divines for our sash piece. And so what that Rallying Cry does, it's going to give you crit chance, max magic, another line of crit chance. And while Battle Spirit is active, critically healing yourself or an ally is going to give you 300 weapon and spell damage, and also 1650 crit resist for 20 seconds. And that can only happen when Battle Spirit is active, which is only in Imperial City, Citadel, Battlegrounds, or a duel. And this is great for your overall just tankiness, your extra damage too, because that crit resist is huge. That way you don't need to build into resistance anymore. So the rest of my small pieces are either divines like this piece or well fitted like my shoulder. So it's really great for your overall damage, because then you can just build into your divines, and that increases your Mundus, which is a shadow, so that increases your overall damage as well. I like Rallying Cry a lot for this. Moving on, we're going to be using mechanical acuity as our legs in heavy reinforced. And then we're going to be using mechanical acuity feet in medium divines. Moving on to our jewelry, we're going to be using Rallying Cry Amulet and Bloodthirsty with a weapon spell damage enchantment on it. We're going to be using Death Dealer's Fate as well in Bloodthirsty with a weapon spell damage enchantment on it. It was either Death Dealer's or Markin in my opinion on this build, and I really like the way Death Dealer's felt, because you're already going to want to be staying in combat because of Roxa. because you know every second that you're in combat you gain that stack. And death dealers is basically the exact same thing, except you're getting max resources, so you're going to be increasing your max health, stamina, and magic the longer you're in combat. And that's just huge for your overall just tankiness. You're getting more beefy, so you're going to get about 3,000 more health. What is it? I'm going to do the math real quick again on my phone. You get 30 stacks and it's 88 per stack, so you're getting an extra 2,640 health, mag, and stam because of death dealers. And honestly, it's awesome. You're just super tanky. You have a lot of health. You're getting a lot of magic too. So between getting more magic and then also getting more magic recovery on Roxa, it's just awesome for your overall sustain and your just beefiness. I like it a lot. And then our other ring is going to be Rallying Cry in the Bloodthirsty trait with a weapon and spell damage. Our front bar is going to be dual wield maces of mechanical acuity. Main hand is going to be Nirnhone with a shock damage enchantment on it. Offhand is going to be sharpened with a frost damage enchantment. Maces, we're using that for our overall penetration. And then Rallying Cry is going to be our back bar set. Defending Ice Staff is the way to go for that. Moving on to our skills, our main spammable is going to be Puncturing Sweep because we are still on a MagPlar, and puncturing is still a pretty solid way to go. I really like to be able to have my mechanical acuity going, and then all of my puncturing sweeps are starting to crit. The amount of damage you're doing on that is insane, and I really like that a lot. Moving on to our next skill, we're going to be using Degeneration. This is going to be your source of major brutality and sorcery, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 20% for 24 seconds. It also leaves a nice little dot, and having that dot crit as well, you know, is another source of damage as well. We're also going to be using Toppling Charge. This is going to be your nice little CC on this build. If you get time it right, you're just starting to use your power of the... Actually, I'll explain the combo in a second. So this is going to be your CC. Then also you're going to be getting major protection for 4 seconds. So it's going to reduce your damage taken by 10%. And that's insane. That tankiness is nuts. And I don't know what they were thinking with that change, but you are super tanky. And then moving on, you're also going to be using Power of the Light. I like the Stam Morph better because it does more damage, and you also get Minor Breach from there. So basically, you put a little beam on, you put a little cone on them, and then when you do damage, it's also going to be, they're also going to be blowing up for the amount of damage that you do, and it's over that duration. That burst potential is. Then also, Radiant Oppression is going to be your last ability. It's going to be your Execute on this build, so it's going to deal up to 500% more damage based on your enemies that are lower than 50 health. That is great when your enemies are at low health. It's a great way to secure that kill. It also goes through a roll dodge, so hitting enemies that are roll dodging constantly, huge. And then Crescent Sweep, this is going to be your last ability on your front bar. This is going to be your ultimate. I like Crescent a lot for your overall damage. It's a very cheap ultimate, and the damage is not to be slept on. It really hits hard. And I was asked today when I was streaming, I was asked why am I using Crescent over a Dawnbreaker? And honestly, I just like how cheap this is, and I like the damage it does. Dawnbreaker would give you more damage overall, yeah, and it would give you a CC, yeah, but I just think that with Toppling, you already have a CC, so you don't need two. Crescent is so cheap that you could basically get 2 of them before you get 1 Dawnbreaker, and it's a no-brainer in my opinion. So real quick, the combo is when you have your mechanical acuity up, you hit your Power of the Light, then you hit your jabs. I'm assuming you have your Degeneration on them at all times. Make sure your weapon and spell damage buff is up. So Power of the Light, hit them with Puncturing Sweep twice, hit them with Toppling Charge, and that's about the time when your Power of the Light is going to go off. Then you hit them with Radiant Oppression or your Crescent Sweep, and boom, their health 100 to 0 that quickly. Moving on, Channel Focus is going to be your back bar for your first skill on your back bar. This is going to be your source of major resolves. So this is going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 6k. Also, you're going to get magic over time during this duration as well, so it's great for your sustain. Also, while your rune is active, you're healing for 850 health every 1 second. That's going to skill off of your max health, so you're getting even more max health on this build when you're in combat and you have your death dealer stacks going. So you don't even have to stand in the rune anymore for you to get the health back. That's insane. I don't know what they were thinking with that change either, but that thing is way too strong, and you become so tanky between having your channel focus up at all times and having like major protection from this. It's insane how tanky you become and just how much you're healing. Also, your next ability, sorry, is going to be Race Against Time. Make sure you have your Race Against Time active at all times when your mechanical acuity is up, because this is going to give you major protection or major expedition and minor force. Now, minor force is critical to this build because you're just going to increase your critical damage by 10%. Also, the major expedition is going to increase your movement speed by 30%, so it's awesome for your speed. And this is also going to be your snare removal. So if you're just slow down or you need to get out of a situation fast, hit this, boom, you're out of dodge. Also, our next ability is going to be Resolving Vigor. This is going to be your nice 5-second heal over time. This is going to give you also minor resolve. So this is going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 3k for 20 seconds. And then Honor the Dead, this is going to be your burst heal. When your Resolving Vigor and your Channel Focus are not doing enough healing, you hit this, boom, you're right back up to full health. Easy. Also, Extended Ritual, this is going to cleanse negative effects off of you. And on top of that, this is going to be a nice little heal over time as well. So you have so many heals to put on you at all times. That's awesome. This is definitely recommended on this build. And then also Temporal Guard, this is going to be your back bar ultimate. Basically, the only reason why you're using this is to get that minor protection. So it's going to reduce your damage taken by 5%. Then finally, our champion points are going to be our blue slottables, are going to be Backstabber, Master at Arms, Fighting Finesse, and Focus Mending. Our red slottables are going to be Celerity, Fortified, Pain's Refuge, and Sustained by Suffering. In your green tree, all you really care about is Breakfall, Rationer, and Liquid Efficiency. And that is the entire build, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It really means a lot to me, and it just really helps a lot when you just have to click that one button just to help me out. 2 more announcements that I want. Actually, I'm gonna make 3 announcements real quick, and I already made one of them with that second YouTube channel. Really, guys, if you're at this point in the video and you haven't subscribed to my other channel, please do so. I can't stress enough how much I would appreciate it. It's free to do so. I never ask any of you guys to pay anything for me, whether it's on my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, anything. I never ask for you guys to pay. So this is just a really free way that you guys could go and support me, and I would really appreciate that. It would really mean a lot to me. Please go subscribe to that second YouTube channel. The link is gonna be in the description. Another announcement is I just recently started up a TikTok. So if you guys are into TikTok and that kind of stuff, go follow that as well. That link will be in the description as well. I'm still pretty new at it, so still go and follow. I would highly appreciate it. And last but not least, go follow me on Twitch. I stream 5 days a week, so come stop by. You get to see all the behind the scenes with these builds and how I come up with them. So stop on by, show some love, and just hang out. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Watching to the end of this video. Let's get on with the footage for this build, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.
Houston, if you're ready, we'll maneuver. Reaching out. Rainbow Road. There is no place and no moment in history where I could stand and say, arithmetic begins here, now.